Hello and welcome to another Scottish walking video. Due to the recent poor weather, I've been unable to get out until today, when the wind eventually died down and I was able to climb Gairich. Another relatively easy route to navigate with a clear path to follow all the way from the start to the summit. The total distance for today's walk is 16.2 kilometres with 929 metres of ascent. It is expected to take around 6 hours to walk. There is some very slight easy scrambling and some limited exposure along a short narrow ridge. As always, I show the full route in time-lapse and include video turn-by-turn commentary and panoramic views from the walk. Parking is free. There are 3 small car parks dotted along the road to the east and the west of the dam. You can probably fit around 15 cars in total. There are no height restrictions and it's around 4 hours drive from Glasgow and Edinburgh. From the car park, head south across the dam. After the dam, the ground underfoot is extremely wet and boggy. It's not the worst I've covered, and you can carefully pick your way through without sinking too deep into the mud. At the end of the dam, follow the rough path on the right. The path splits into multiple parallel tracks as people have tried to avoid the wettest, boggiest sections. You continue in a south-southwest direction for almost 3 kilometres until you reach the edge of a woodland area. You then bend to the right, heading west just before you reach the fence line that is outside of these woods. And then you'll join a well-made path that zigzags up the hillside, and it's quite a gentle incline, heading again for another 3 kilometres in a westerly direction. Then after which you'll come to a steeper section, and it can look a little bit intimidating as you look up at the steep rock ahead. Fortunately, the path has enough zigzags in it to take the sting out of the steepness, and it's well made. There was one very easy scrambling section, only about a metre or so, as you make your way up towards the summit. From the summit, on a good day, you can see out across the sky in the Black Cuillin. To return back to the car park, you simply retrace your outward journey. When I got to this point, I noticed a clear path continue on below the marshy section of the morning, and it looks on the map as if you're underwater, but it was easier to walk across this area on the way back. I think you'd probably find it more difficult to follow on the way out, and then after that you simply cross the dam back to the car park. Good morning, it's 7:45, I'm at Loch Quioch, probably not pronouncing that properly. It's a nice morning. Meant to clear up later on, so we should get a clear sunny summit. The path itself crosses the dam, goes alongside, you don't drop down to the water level, but it goes alongside the loch there for a bit, then makes its way up onto the ridgeline, and then you go all the way up the ridgeline to the summit, which is in cloud at the moment. That is forecast to clear up. This parking bay has space for about 5 vehicles. And anyway, from here, just going to go back down the road a little bit and cross the dam. At the end of the dam, you can see there's signs of a path going up and towards that cairn, but for the Munro, you just want to go on the lower path that goes round to the right. So you're not really going up to the cairn at all, skirting around. You can see the tracks going higher and higher as people try to avoid the wettest parts. It's like this until you get to the woods, and I believe at the woods it's even worse. But after that, once you're onto the main ridge going up, it gets a lot better. I'm half an hour into the walk. There's a small loch in here on the right hand side and a good stream flowing into it. So I'm going to get a little bit of water here. There should be other opportunities on the hill, but just in case. A light rain shower starting. A lot of the path is like this. Quite wet. It has been wet for the past 3 weeks, so it's probably a little bit worse than normal. Path bends off there to the left slightly, and then it'll bend round. I can see the woods now. We're heading straight ahead, and then the path bends up to the right. You can see some zigzags on the hillside there. We go up there. Hopefully once we get to that point, the path is a lot drier. It has been very wet. 1 hour into the walk. There's a good stream here on the left. You could fill up with water. And that fence line ahead going to turn up to the right. And now it's going to start getting a bit steeper. It's starting to brighten up. There's about 3 kilometres along this fairly gentle incline. It's not difficult to ascend. And then you get to the steep section, which is about half a kilometre from the summit. And that looks quite steep from here. So it's quite a nice walk. Just under 2 hours into the walk, the cloud is gradually lifting. Not sure if it will clear by the time I get there. It's also lifting over there. Hopefully that'll be next week's walk. It starts to get quite a bit steeper now. I've only done this once before. I don't recall there being any difficulties or any sort of exposed scrambling, just steep. I'm around 840 metres in altitude. The summit's 917, about 80 metres of ascent to go. You can see we're getting near the top. We're in line with the two Munros over there. So far it's been quite an easy zigzag up this steep slope. Yeah, a little bit rockier up ahead. There is a little rocky section. I'm able to climb up it without actually using my hands, just my poles stepping up it. The ridge is getting a bit narrower, and with the cloud it is making it a bit eerie. Looks like another little rocky section, very slight scrambling. I'm at the summit of Gairich. The cloud is almost clearing. You get brief breaks in the cloud. Two and a half hours to the summit, that wasn't bad. There's a very small windbreak. Not really facing the right way today. On a clear day you can easily see the cooling. It's just it's west, slightly northwest of here. I've waited a while to see if it would clear up. I'm just starting to get a bit cold and I'll soon stiffen up. So behind the cairn there, not very windy at all. It's not bad, but there is a bit of a breeze. You can see the clouds just actually got thicker there. So I'm going to head back down the path. It wasn't a difficult walk to get up here. It looks really steep from a distance, but the path zigzags enough on the way up there. It's not bad at all. So I'm just going to retrace my steps, same path back down. I suspect this little rocky section could get a bit more difficult if it's banked out with snow. It'd be quite a steep wall at that point. But without the snow, it's just a gentle scramble. The wind seems to be picking up and getting a bit colder. road again. You can see that is quite a boggy section ahead. It wasn't too bad on this higher part. Then you're back down to the tree line and you cut across. And you can just make out where the dam is at the end of the loch there. So you can see there's a fair bit to walk back. So that's much better visibility now. You can probably hear the wind. It has picked up since I ascended this morning. Apart from the path being quite muddy and mushy and wet, it is very clear for the most part. Only this section here is the faintest of the path. You can see it going straight ahead. Again, in snow it might be a little bit harder to follow. If you've got the visibility, then you know you're just heading straight for the steep section there. Once going up there, the path was very clear, a gravel path almost all the way to the top. At this point you can see there's a very small cairn on the ground just ahead. You want to take the path on the right. That's the way we came. This path I'm on does go straight ahead. On the ascent you don't really notice that path. You come up to the cairn, you bend to your left, but it's a natural direction to go towards the mountain. Just got to be careful on the way back to turn to the right here. I'm sure you could correct your course further on. This is the most direct path. Gradually making my way down towards the woods there, and then at that point the path cuts directly across to the end of the dam. Probably should have worn gaiters for this walk, a lot of splashing up. The sun's coming out a little bit. So I'm just looking back, we've just come down those zigzags. Just don't go down the last one. We go straight ahead. It does look very muddy, but I think it's easier than going down along the fence line. And you can see the path going up on the opposite side. Nice and calm back down at the lower level. Summit still has cloud on it, unfortunately. I think I'm taking a lower path. Earlier on I came across a little bit higher up, so we'll see how this goes. As you'll be able to see from the time lapse, I'm not on a path, and when I check the map and use my GPS position, I'm underwater. So the reservoir is very low at the moment, or the loch is very low at the moment. Path is a wee bit up to the right hand side. It's been 5.5 hours since I started the walk. The top is clearing up. There are 3 parking areas now for this walk. A big one just below that mast over there, a smaller one where the blue car is, and another small one where my van is. The road at the moment is also closed daily between 8:30 and 5:30 on weekdays. There's roadworks going on just a bit further down the road. You can see some of the work vehicles returning at the moment, so maybe they're going to knock off early on the Friday. But later on I'll go down there for tomorrow's walk. You can see how calm it is with the loch. Not much of a ripple on the surface. At the end of the dam, turn left or right to the car park. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to showing you more in the next one. Bye for now.